The emperor asked the princess to choose a prince consort, but the princess ignored all the noble young men, and instead chose a eunuch. This was because in her previous life, the eunuch had saved her from a fiery inferno. He used his own body to block the falling beams from the burning house. Knowing he had little time left, he handed her the military token in his hand. With this token, she could command all the soldiers in the world. The princess lived a peaceful life for the rest of her years, but she couldn't bear to abandon him in the fire, so she risked her life to rescue him. Just as they stepped out of the door, an arrow struck the eunuch, and the person who shot it was her ex-husband. Watching her lover fall before her, the princess finally shouted the words the eunuch had been waiting to hear, "My husband." Then the eunuch died contentedly in her arms, facing the man who had killed her father and brother, and dragged her into a tavern. The princess was filled with hatred. She knew the prince consort wanted the military token, so she shattered it on the ground. In his rage, the man ordered that the eunuch's residence be burned to the ground. Without the eunuch's companionship, the princess chose to commit suicide, but just as she closed her eyes, time suddenly began to reverse, and the princess found herself back on the day she was choosing a husband. After experiencing the tragic outcome of her past life, the princess swore to never repeat the same mistakes. She would protect all her loved ones. At this time, the scoundrel was still confident, thinking the princess would choose him, but the reborn princess would not be fooled by his sweet words. So this time, she decisively chose the eunuch. But in everyone's eyes, how could a eunuch become the princess's consort? The emperor would never agree to spend time alone with the eunuch. The princess had to use the excuse of having defeated enemies when she was 15 to make the emperor grant her one condition. Reluctantly, the emperor agreed to reward the eunuch to her, but he could never be her prince consort. Now, the princess could finally spend every day with the eunuch. She would not miss any opportunity to get closer to him, so she arranged for him to live next door. The eunuch couldn't understand the princess's actions at all. He wondered what she was really up to. The princess admitted that she truly wanted to be with him, and she also wanted to be the decision-maker behind the scenes, because she intended to kill the man. Upon hearing this, the eunuch was stunned. Who didn't know the princess loved the man to the point of madness? Why did she suddenly change her attitude and want to kill him? Something was off. The eunuch couldn't yet let go of his doubts. The palace servants came to advise the princess to be careful of the eunuch. He was a dangerous person. Having him around would only bring trouble. Seeing their heartfelt persuasion, the princess almost gave in. If not for her second chance at life, she would never have guessed that the palace servants who had always stayed by her side were actually the man's people. Now they were trying to drive a wedge between her and the eunuch, and speak well of the man, to dispel their concerns. The princess lied that she had chosen the eunuch just to test the man, but to her surprise, he remained indifferent. Finally, she gave the palace servant a token and asked him to arrange a meeting with the man, but the man had plans to drug the princess and take advantage of her.